what are your initial thoughts after this game?
Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. You know, we were watching the vast majority of the games, and it's just, you know, it was going the way you sort of expected to, not really that much action, but then everything changed as soon as that second South Korea goal went in. And all of a sudden, all eyes go to the Uruguay game. The Uruguayans know that they now need to score another goal. And you can see there's such a great picture of Suarez pointing up at the scoreboard because they showed the group, which I don't know if that's normal, but in showing the group, all of a sudden the panic set in, the fear, and then the game completely turned on its head. And it was incredible to watch because, firstly, that Uruguay game was going to be 7-8 minutes, finishing 7-8 minutes later than the South Korea one. So there's going to be a lot of time waiting around. But for them, you're seeing both teams going at it, basically gave up on defending overall throughout their teams. And best of all, it wasn't the fact that, you know, the teams weren't going all out to try and get a win. It was for their own separate sort of motivations. You're seeing Uruguay throwing people forward. Like, they're already winning 2-0. So the 3 points is in the bag, but now they need to find the extra one to adjust their position within this and continue in the competition. It was absolutely amazing. That's probably the best 10, 15 minutes, I'd say, of the whole tournament. But then it's recency bias because yesterday was pretty good and so was the day before. So, yeah, I want lots more of this going forward, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan just keeps, every time he's on the show, he says the same thing. And rightly so, because it's madness every single day. I think there were two narratives today. One of them was Uruguay finally actually in this game. If we just talk about this match alone, finally I saw some garra charrua. Finally I saw some Uruguayan grit. Finally I saw some goals, because before this game, they hadn't scored a single goal in the World Cup. You know, finally I saw some dynamism from Diego Alonso and putting everything in the midfield. Because we need to remember that Diego Alonso took over this Uruguayan side when Uruguay was 7th in World Cup qualifiers, 4 matches to go. They won those 4 matches. Here they are. But I hadn't seen anything in this World Cup until today. So that's one story. The second story is what Nathan was talking about, which is absolute madness, trying to go for that third goal after realizing what South Korea were doing. And honestly, Jules said it about Mexico, I believe, in a previous episode. I repeat this for Uruguay. The loss was done ultimately way before this. They hadn't shown me anything up to today, and they deserve to not qualify. And I'm sorry for Luis Suarez. Obviously, he's very emotional. And to your point, Kay, about the emotional history of what's happened before this game with Ghana. And I'm sorry about players like Darwin Núñez and Pajarito Valverde and all these people. But, like, you don't deserve to go through. You were just not good enough. South Korea, at least you gave me something in every single game. So well done to them. Unbelievable stuff.
Is this revenge enough, Jules, then, for Ghana, do you think? We're going down, but you're coming with us.
We were saying with Nathan watching it, our karma, you know, that's karma at its best. That's revenge. Yesterday, we disagree on the FC show. I thought revenge was a bit strong talking about this game today because it was a long time ago and the players have changed and still Asamoah Gyan could have scored and Ghana would have gone through. But it felt today, like at the end, when they were wasting time just to deny Uruguay the opportunity to score a third goal that would send them through. It was the way from this Ghana generation to basically, you know, have one back on Uruguay and probably say, remember what happened 12 years ago? Remember 2010? Well, this is our 2010 to us. This is how we deny you from progressing into this competition by wasting time when we are losing 2-0. You know, usually you waste time when you're winning, not when you're losing. But today I thought, yeah, that was their way of showing that, you know, karma and revenge at its best, really.
I suppose as well, Nathan, when you look at it, what's really interesting is the fact that Uruguay had this start. They got the goals from De Arrascaeta. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? Anyway, I called him De Arras goal getter because he was showing great signs for his team. It seemed as though everything was going their way. There was absolutely no way they thought that South Korea were going to beat Portugal. It seems that way. And so I think that's probably why it's been even tougher for them come the final result, what it's meant for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But as Eleni has said, you know, this, and as Jules has said in previous games, you know, this was lost before this moment today. You know, that last 10 minutes and the desire they showed overall in the 90, it's great doing it now, but maybe if you had a bit more of that, it would have set them up to be in a better position heading into that final game. I think to be relying upon another result going your way, it's not a great position to be in if you could have, say, maybe tweaked your approach before it, because I was lucky enough to go and watch, you know, Portugal versus Uruguay. And in that first half, I was astonished by Uruguay. It's like they almost didn't want to attack, apart from Bentancur. There was literally nothing else going on. But then you saw them today go up against the Ghana side, who we felt maybe were coming back for revenge and such. and they made Ghana look quite poor overall. I thought I was expecting a bigger performance from them, but then lo and behold, at the end, when they then throw everything forward, they look exciting again. But the die had already been cast. This is the position that we're in, and then this is what happens. Jules was making a very good point when I was with him in the room we were watching the game in. You're always going to run the risk. If one goal somewhere else can greatly affect your situation, then maybe you should have been going for it more before that point. And ultimately, they didn't do that. And as a consequence, they were punished. And all the heartbreak, you didn't go out just because of the last 10 minutes of the tournament for you. It was the previous 90, the 180 before that. So it's a shame that this is what's happened to them and you're seeing pain on the sidelines. But this is it. And I'm sure the Ghanaians will be doing a little celebration because they didn't get what they want, but they kind of got what they wanted.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.